There's a lot of people playing in the multifamily and in residential real estate space right now. We're involved in those kinds of spaces as well, but I want to present to you guys something that's completely off the handle. How about something that's not residential housing? Let's talk about commercial office space for a second. Let's talk about how you can take a commercial office space and modernize it and attract today's entrepreneur to your space that is willing to pay you premium rents for the environment you've created. And what's most exciting about this is you guys can acquire office buildings for low prices because the office world has changed. People are working from home. Companies are not needing all the office space that they need anymore. So you guys can acquire these office buildings for very, very reasonable prices, do some very affordable upgrades to them, and create an environment that has a really, really high yield and high return on your investment. I'm really excited to show you guys this. I hope it gives you some inspiration and ideas you can bring into your residential business, and maybe some inspirations to try getting into commercial as well. Come on, let's take a tour. So you want to provide things that tenants don't have access to on their own dime. Something that's the perfect example of that is a really, really high-end copy machine. These copy machines cost thousands for people to buy, so why don't you provide one, or even just go and lease it, and then tenants can pay you in pennies per page, because these machines you can get a login. The tenant can log in with an ID code, and you can get to see how much usage they had during the month, and charge them in pennies per page, a fair rate for the usage, which prevents them from having to go out and buy something super expensive like this, or to pay a big lease on something like this on their own. They can just use a fraction of it as they go. You also want to let people have a little bit of fun. I'm a big fan of ping pong, and a lot of people are too, and ping pong's a fun way to just blow off a little bit of steam and to maybe challenge another tenant that's in the building to just something to go and kind of let your hair down and have a little bit of fun and play some ping pong. We've also got a video game machine that sits over in the corner that people can use when they want to just go and have a little bit of fun in between meetings or in between phone calls or whatever it is. But things like this are not something they're going to fit in their own office space, so we decided to drop in a little something so people can go have a little bit of fun, and it occupies the space, and it's a building amenity that's there for them all to use together, and it creates a fun work environment. These next couple things are going to cost you a little bit, but I can promise tenants will greatly appreciate having it. So we put in just a Keurig coffee machine and one of these little spindle things. Now they got to pay a few pennies, I think 25 cents or 50 cents for a little K thing. They can bring their own Keurigs in if they want, and also a jug of water, which that's provided on us. So they can have a glass of water if they want. These things cost me, actually, this does not charge. We can't sell this, but this is a kegerator we put in, which is fun. You can have events in the building as well, a little camaraderie, a little team building among your tenants and things like that. But you provide a little thank you, a little give back. Yes, these things cost, but people greatly appreciate having little thank you amenities there for people to be a part of. Like, here's a cup of coffee. They don't have to go and buy this on their own. They can go and utilize these things that you have in the building as part of the common space, and it's just an amenity, a little thank you for being my tenant kind of thing. And indirectly, it creates more value in the rental space and creates them accustomed to having this kind of stuff here, and maybe they're willing to pay you more rent over time that you provide these kinds of things to them, including networking events. And just a little thank you back, and here's a cup of coffee for yourself or a glass of water, taken care of by us. The cost of these two is not that much. The cost of that can be, of a kegerator with a keg in it, can cost quite a bit, but if you use it for networking and to draw more tenants to your space and to draw more awareness to your space, this can be of value as well. Here, we've got a small conference room for tenants to use. Tenants can rent less space from you if they have access to a small meeting room. And everybody has to have face-to-face meetings these days if they're active in their community. A lot of our tenants in this building are landlords, and so they want to have lease signings or they want to do closings or whatever it is. So we provided a small, this would have been a super, super small office with no window. So instead of making it a small office, we just turned it into a common space. There are tenants to come and have meetings in the room and put a little table and some chairs and stuff like that. And then they can have little face-to-face meetings with people. Anytime they want to use it, they can have a meeting. This is one of our meeting rooms. We have a larger one that's in use right now, so I'll show you this one. But this is a space that you can provide to your tenants in a small office building that they can all collaborate and use for their own face-to-face meetings and not have to have something like this in each of their office spaces, which is kind of redundant. And then they have access to this for themselves when they need it. And they use it when they need it, and they don't when they don't. So we wanted to decorate the walls in our office building. We didn't want to have like the cheesy motivational posters of people people rowing or climbing mountains and stuff like that. We wanted to put real decorations on the walls. So, and instead of me going out and buying a bunch of art, what I did was I found local artists and I put their work on the wall and I put it up for sale. So you can go and call artists for the work that's on our walls, and we've sold art for some of these artists, but we get the win of having some stuff on our walls. The artists get their stuff displayed because some of the stuff might be sitting in a warehouse, but they get it on display in a building, and we get our walls covered. And tenants that occupy the space get to look at nice looking art as they come to work in the morning. So it's a small monetization for us because we take a very, very small commission for helping these artists sell the work. But more importantly, we get our walls covered with really, really nice artwork, and the artist gets their stuff on display. So it is a win-win-win across the board, and it's an easy way to cover your walls with something way more creative than, again, people rowing or pictures of people climbing mountains with the word success underneath it or something like that. Those cheesy office paintings or office pictures are in enough spaces. Put something that's of real value that's produced by somebody local, because these are all local artists that produce the work too. Now, if you really want to get creative with your commercial space, I want to show you guys something awesome. It's an idea we just came up with, and the thing is, today's entrepreneur and business owner wants a way to get themselves online, okay? Everybody wants to be online, web pages and stuff like that, and the new thing these days, it's not even new, is people having podcasts to talk about things they're passionate about, to draw people to themselves. If you want to be a thought leader, want to be a magnet for people that want to work with you one way or the other, a great way to get the word out about what you're passionate about and what you do is through a podcast. So I want to show you guys something. You gotta be quiet because we're in here on the air right now, but we put in a podcast studio in our office building. So something that benefits today's business owner like this. I want to show you guys. Come check it out.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing.
Something like this. Now, you guys are on the air, so let's be quiet. But this is something that's possible that you guys could do in a commercial space as well, right? So, sorry guys.
No worries.
So people have extra stuff, and we had this extra basement in our office building, and so we said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to just cut it up and put fencing in. Very affordable to do this, and for a small amount of rent, our tenants upstairs that have office spaces can just rent a little cubicle from us to keep like extra file folders or extra file cabinets or just things that they might have that are spillover from their business that they need to keep safe and secure somewhere with an office directly above them. They can throw it in this little caged-in space. Now, of course, this works for residential space. I've seen a lot of people be successful with this in residential real estate. We've done the same thing. We thought we'd convey this concept over to commercial, and it's worked out well. Now, it might not work for a huge company that's one of your tenants, but if you've got a small entrepreneur-based tenant that has just some extra stuff, that's just some spillover tchotchkes they need to keep somewhere for their business, be that for rent signs, or we have several tenants that are lawyers, and so they have to keep their clients' files on in physical presence and under lock and key for a certain period of time. So they were happy to rent something like this for us. This is a great way to utilize the space that you have if it's an uninhabitable basement space, but it's something that could be used for something storage. Like affordable self-storage is a great option for office space. Thanks for taking this tour, guys. I hope I've given you some inspiration and some ways you can convey creative concepts into taking down a real estate investment vehicle you might not have thought of already, which is the office space. I think it's a great opportunity to really help transform the way people work in the world, and just to create a little more fun and a little modernized environment that serves today's modern entrepreneur. And you guys can be a part of that transformation and make great returns on your investment as well by acquiring these spaces and doing some of the things that we did today. If you're inspired by this, leave a comment, like and share this video, and be sure to check us out further on biggerpockets.com. Thanks for watching, guys.